there are those that will tell you that last year Doc was on the hot seat, but what saved him was the injuries. When Blake went down, then you couldn't hold it against him wherever they finished in the playoffs. I don't know that I'd say he's, in danger of being fired, but the fact is that Doc's got to get it done. If you look at that roster, we're talking about super teams, right? Cleveland and Golden State. Why aren't the Clippers considered a super team? I mean, you got a top 3 point guard in Chris Paul. You got a top 3 power forward in Blake Griffin. A top 3 center in DeAndre Jordan. The best 6 man in the league, Jamal Crawford. One of the best shooters in the league in J.J. Redick. I know the truth. Paul Pierce isn't what he used to be, but he's still a veteran presence. He's smart. He's been there. They should be in the conversation with Golden State and Cleveland and San Antonio if you want to throw them in. I feel like a successful season for the Clippers. They should be thinking championship. But if they don't get to the conference finals, then I think that's a bad season. I think for them to have a successful season, they have to get to the conference finals for their first time ever. And if they play Golden State, lose in a tough 6 or 7 if you don't beat them. I know it's no shame in losing to the Spurs or the Warriors in the second round, but this team, look, you brought Doc in for this. This is supposed to be a specialty, right? I got veteran players who are smart and great. Doc, you can bring them together like you did in Boston. So he hasn't gotten them any further than Vinny Del Negro to this point.
I'm going to tell you what puts pressure on Doc Rivers. It's the San Antonio Spurs and Greg Popovich. They just lost Tim Duncan at the end of an era, and they come out and show, no, we're not going anywhere. We've adjusted with Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge. We got a new team. The better the Spurs do, to me, the worse Doc looks if they can't keep up.
Because you say it's coaching.
Yes.
Even though they got great. Well, beyond that, what's the difference? I now Golden State has Kevin Durant, but take away Durant. Last year they have Durant. 3 years ago, the Clippers were beating the Warriors in the playoffs. And all of a sudden, they're light years ahead of you. Why? All they did was make a coaching change. Steve Kerr went in there and took that team to the next level. That's what Doc was supposed to do. He hasn't gotten it done, and I do think this year, he's got to get this team.
Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, they're not also the president, general manager. They're just coaching their teams.
And I mean, Pop has the authority, but yeah, R.C. Buford's running. You're right. I mean, and hopefully, he needs to let Lawrence Frank, they promoted Lawrence Frank, let his front office guys kind of handle that. I get wanting final say, but you can't do that job, on a daily basis and coach your team. So I agree with you. He needs to just focus on the coaching and let those guys do what they do.